Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Sinag and welcome to a new reading vlog. So this one is supposed to be a themed reading vlog, and it is supposed to be reading Ruby Dixon's fantasy romance books that I have yet to read. But I just realized that I cannot read a Ruby Dixon book, or I cannot read Ruby Dixon's books back to back to back to back to back, like especially right now where I'm almost caught up with her new releases. I think I still have 4 more books to read, to complete her catalog before she released a new one. I am kind of slowing down when it comes to binging Ruby Dixon content or her books, and that's why I decided to just scrap the idea of reading her fantasy romance books and just read it slowly, one by one. The other 2 books that was supposed to be included with Darkfire are Wed to the Wild God and The Half Orc's Maiden Bride. And I know for sure that I have a lot of things to say to Wed to the Wild God, and I think this is the most what do you call this? This is the most realistic thing for me to just do a solo reading vlogs for those, because I don't want to edit an hour-long video. So that's all for this intro, and let's now go to the first clip. I'm currently reading Darkfire na, and to be honest with you, I don't care. I'm finding it hard to care because I don't like both of our main characters. So Melina and Azar doesn't sit well with me based from what we've read from the previous books in this series, Fire Blood Dragon series. I think Ruby Dixon will need to do a lot for me to be able to sympathize with both of them, especially Azar. So if you're wondering why I felt a bit lukewarm towards Melina, because in the past books we get to see she seems complicit to me. So I don't know about her story or about her perspective back then, because obviously she's just a side character back then, she's not the main character. So I think that's going to be a good thing for me to look forward to see what her perspective really is, because from what we've seen of her from the other books, from the previous books, she seems complicit to what Azar is doing, and she has, if not the same amount of power as him, but she has a bit of a power to influence him. And for me, in my perspective, it feels like she's just encouraging or enabling whatever Azar is doing to the dragons back then. And so in this one, I'm looking forward to see, I think that's going to be a good thing. I'm looking forward to see what Melina's thoughts really are, and maybe she's planning something or whatever it is, but at least I have a bit of a curiosity. I don't know if I want them to be redeemed, especially Azar, but anyway we'll go through it and we'll see what will happen. But so far, I'm not enjoying it, and I'm happy that I am currently simultaneously reading a lot of books, because I'm kind of procrastinating reading this book because I am just not feeling it. So we'll see what will happen. So I just finished reading part 1 in Darkfire, and I guess this is a good time for me to update you on what happened so far and where are we going. So I think this book has 3 parts, and the part 1, the one I recently finished, we get to see Azar and Melina's point of view from before this current timeline happened. So basically it spans throughout the previous books before this. So anyway, I think this second part will be tackling about what's happened right after book 9, And I think part 3 will be something about the reef. I think they are going to know what's going to happen in part, but in part, what I theorize is that in part 2 we're going to finally know, we the readers and the characters, what's happening in the reef. And then part 3, it's like the big battle or the resolution and conclusion part. And so surprisingly, surprisingly, Azar was tamer in this one. Like, he's not very annoying. And Melina, she's the same. She chose to be ignorant, and Azar was deliberately keeping things or keeping information from her, and we definitely cannot fault her for that because Azar is withholding information deliberately. But I don't know. I don't want to like Azar, but what I'm going to say is that Ruby Dixon really knows how to write her characters, and I don't know about the redeeming part because I think we're going to see that, or we're going to talk about that after reading the entire book. But she really knows how to make an interesting character, a compelling character, and kind of a swoon-worthy hero. So I'm a bit confused right now because I don't want to like him for what he did and what he's currently doing. But we'll see. We'll see what will happen by the end of this book. As I've mentioned in the last clip, we are now in the part 2 of this book, and to be honest, I'm kind of confused. But basically in part 2, we are in Azar and Melina's point of view of what happened during the last book. So the last book is Fire in Her Dreams, and it is the 9th book in the series. So that's the book before this one. And so we get to see their perspective when, this is a spoiler for the for Fire in Her Dreams, but we get to see the perspective of Azar and Melina when Jenny was unknowingly communicating with her mate, which is one of the dragons in Azar's fort. So the root of my confusion is because before, I forgot which book exactly it is, but it is stated that when Rachel and, or no, when Gwen and her mate goes into the fort in Fort Dallas, Melina was already with child, like she is heavily pregnant already. But in this one, in where we are so far in Darkfire, we get to know that Gwen and her mate was already in the fort, as well as Rachel and I forgot what her mate's name, but Jurek, I think. So Rachel and Jurek were also in the fort, so that's 2 couples already, as well as Jenny and her dragon was going to be the 3rd one. So basically 3 couples or 3 books have already passed since we've known that Melina was already heavy with child. But in this one, from what we are reading, Melina still doesn't have a child, and Melina and Azar still doesn't do the mating bond, something like that. And I'm confused because is that a plot hole? Or because from what I can remember, it is always explained that Melina is heavily with child na, and people, or the people outside Fort Dallas, the couples that we've been with outside Fort Dallas, always mentions that, and they are wondering how can she do that. Basically, how can she be with someone who is an enslaver or controlling like Azar, or Salorian like him. So I think it's a plot hole in this one. It's actually my only update with this one because it kind of bothers me. Hello, good morning. It's 2 p.m. already and I just woke up, but I want to review Darkfire because I finished it
2 nights ago, and I don't want to forget what my thoughts about it because I'm kind of forgetting it na. So going to I'm going to review this na. So I finished Darkfire, and to be honest with you, I came into this book knowing that a slaver wouldn't be redeemed in my eyes, and despite Ruby Dixon's writing style, because I love her writing style, the unwanted redemption arc of Azar, at least for me, didn't do anything for me. Like, I was only here to know about the mystery that is the mystery of the rift and the resolution, and how everything will be wrapped up because this is the last book in the series. The reason why I pick it up is because I want to finish this series, and I don't want to leave the last book behind because I really am curious as to what's going to happen. So I still don't like Azar and Melina. I'm quite conflicted about Melina because she feels like she still is a wishy-washy character. Like, she doesn't have her own agency or her own decision. Like, she goes with the flow a lot of time, and even after Azar's revelations, or the revelations about Azar's secrets, at first she feels disgusted about him because obviously, but I don't know if she had enough time to think about it or to really assess the situation. At first, she fully supports Azar, and then when she realized that he lied to her, she's on the extreme end, like that she's on the extreme end that she doesn't want to talk about, or she doesn't want to talk to him anymore and doesn't want to be in his presence, which is fair because I understand. But what she did after, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it a lot, but yeah, I don't like both of them, but especially Azar, because he really is the worst, and I don't care about what he did at the end because that doesn't erase the past that he made. So anyway, that's just my opinion, and I know that this is kind of a polarizing opinion because I am included in the Ruby Dixon Facebook group, and after reading this book, I browsed in there. I browsed the spoiler filled dedicated post for the Darkfire, and a lot of people likes Azar and likes what happened in here and was able to forgive him. But I found one or two people who's not comfortable with Azar and Melina, especially Azar's relationship with Melina. But I feel like we people who don't like Azar are very few. So it feels like an unpopular opinion. But I will never like a hero or a redemption arc for arpists, pedo, slaver, and serial killer. So it's just a boundary for me, and at the end of the day, I prioritize my morals first before the writing style or the redemption arc about this kind of people. It's just my opinion. So let me know if you have read Darkfire. Let me know what did you think about Azar, and whether you're able to forgive him for what he did in the past and what he's now doing in the future or in the present. But for me personally, it's still a no. Moving on, I like the children in here, and if Ruby Dixon is going to create a spin-off of this world, with how she constructed the epilogue, it feels like if she is going to create a spin-off series of this world, I think it's going to be very light and funny and fluffy, and I just want that. And I want to encounter the babies again because they have a lot of personality already, and they're very cute. And I don't know, they encourage me to finish this book. And the epilogue, we've seen dragons and humans this is not going to be too spoilery, but we've seen dragons and humans in the world together, and I just wanted to read more about that and how they, what do you call this, how they survive the and how they will continue moving forward. I like the writing style. Obviously, I like the babies. I like the epilogue. I like the mystery and the resolution. It's very satisfying for me, and I like the plot line. But the plot line in terms of we're getting to know more about the reef and what's happening there and what are we going to do to move forward or to defeat it. And so but other than that, the characters, our main characters, the one that we're supposed to be rooting, I don't like, and the history behind them, especially Azar, I'm not into, I don't like that. And so the highest rating that I could give to this book is 3 stars, and I know that's very biased because I already know that I'm not going to like Azar, and I don't like redemption arc for his character as a slaver. But that's just me. That's why I'm already saying this right now. Is for you to judge or to decide for yourself if you really want to pick up this book. If what I've said that I don't like in this book you don't mind, then go read this book. But yes, that's just for me. So I give this book 3 stars, and yes, I don't really like this series. I'm just going to be honest because it's kind of depressing, especially the first, second. There's a lot of books in this series that is just mess and annoying characters, except maybe the third book. I think it's Emma and Zor. I forgot because all of this book has fire in the title, so I forgot. And I don't care about this series or some of these books, so I don't care. But I like Emma and Zor, and then Fire in Her Eyes. That's the one that I really remember because that's my only favorite book in this one, which includes Teva and Gabe. Teva is the red dragon, so it is the only book in here that has a red dragon and human man. So yes, that's my favorite. So for me personally, it can't be read alone. Like, I mean, if you're going to read this book, it is much more satisfying, I think, if it is read chronologically. But it I kind of contemplating that because I hated the first book like a lot, and I think I'm also that's an unpopular opinion because I am always looking at the Goodreads review and the Facebook group for Ruby Dixon, and a lot of people seems to be liking this or liking the first book and liking the books that I don't like. And so I think I have an unpopular opinion with regard to that, but I suggest that you still try to read it from the first book. If you think that the first book is the worst, because that's what I thought is the worst, I think you can skip it. I highly recommend Emma and Zor. I don't know, you just look at the description of the book in Goodreads, but it's Emma and Zor. I think it's Fire in Her Embrace, and then what's her name? Fire in Her Eyes. There are some plot points I think that you're going to miss, but if you're after really good stories and really good character dynamics, then that's the book that. And aside from that, I think Ruby Dixon's writing style made it easy for me personally to understand what's going on, because usually her releases are farther apart, or not farther apart, but for me, because I don't retain much memory easily. Like I easily forgot plot points, character names. Even after reading the book, I already forgot the names of the main character. So for me personally, it's hard to read new releases from her because it's going to be farther apart, at least in my head's timeline. But That's the reason why I prefer to read some of her books when a lot of books are already published, and then I'm just going to read them back to back to back, or there's a day in between. I remember I am, what do you call this? I am confused on who is the parents of Salabatri Luminora. I'm so confused, and until now I don't know who is the parents of Luminora. I know Salabatri because I think it is mentioned that her father is the hero in the first book. I already forgot his name, but I still don't know who Luminora's parents are. So anyway, I think with her writing style, it is easier to understand the general plot or the general thing that happened in the past book. But I think it is much more satisfying to read in order, or in chronological order, or in publication order, whatever you like, for you to, if you wanted to understand the world more and see what's happening in terms of the macro plot. That's it for this reading vlog. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you still enjoyed. And yes, if you like this video, don't forget to click the like button, and if you want to be updated with my future uploads, don't forget to subscribe as well, and the notification bell down below. That's all for me for this video, and thank you so much for watching, and see you on my next video. Bye!